Jr., the Vice Mayor for the city of Nashville, Tennessee. And of course, Mayor, before we had our final commercial break, in a real sense, we promised that we'd give you an opportunity to talk about some of the issues that you see to be very, very important in your upcoming effort to be mayor of the city of Nashville.
Well, you know, Nashville has issues that are important to it because when you have a metropolitan city, a city that is on the move, there are a lot of issues that are germane to a city like Nashville. And of course, number one, and always number one, in my mind, will be public education. And you know, a lot of people say, well, y'all always say public education. Well, public education, the system of public education, educates over 70,000 youth a year. That is our future population. Those are the future workers and leaders of this city. There are other institutions, private and otherwise, that are around the city who also do a great job of educating, but the masses are educated through our public education system. So if we want to have a progressive city, if we want to have a healthy city, if we want to have a city that is going to continue to be on the move, then we got to make sure that those people who are educated in our public school system are getting the best education possible. So it's got to stay number one, you know, but as you have a growing city, you have growing pains. And of course, traffic is a big issue and is becoming more and more of an issue in our city of Nashville. And though people are talking about light rail and alternative sources of transportation, our MTA bus lines are starting to improve. And what we have to do is we've got to use it to its maximum. We've got to make sure that the bus routes start moving a little quicker rather than 45-minute wait, maybe get it to a 20-minute wait. So the only way you can do that is provide more buses and more resources. And there are other alternatives where you can keep the buses running at stoplights and what have you, and to keep it flowing. You have to educate your community that is used to driving everywhere it goes that the alternative mode of transportation is best. So that is going to be very important. Nashville is right now growing. There's a boom going on, and it's very important that we continue to grow. We need to continue to prosper. Downtown is starting to grow. People are starting to move back to the inner core of the city, and that's very important because the inner core is the heart of the city, and so if it's vibrant, the city becomes vibrant. But as we move in these directions, we cannot forget that our communities are important. And right now we have some communities that are hurting. We have some communities that are struggling with their family structure. We have kids that are not getting the type of attention that they need. And it's not always a negative mark against the parents. In a lot of these homes, the parents are doing all they can. The mama might have 2 or 3 children and she's got to work. And she might have to get the bus and have 3 stops before she gets back home. So the child comes home to an empty house, to an empty nest. It would be nice if we could utilize our social services and other services within the communities to provide opportunities, not giveaways, not subsidies, but opportunities where these parents can work closer to home, where they can be home and have a home structure a little better than it is becoming. Because see, we can pour all the money we want to pour into public education, but if the child is not ready to learn, if the child goes to school every day hungry, if a child goes to school every day hopeless, I don't care if you put $1 billion into public education, that child is not going to be ready to receive the benefits of it. So we're going to have to uplift and strengthen the family base, the family structure in our communities, so communities can be safe and so communities can be prepared to raise the children in the way they need to be. We need to continue to work on crime, and Nashville really over the last couple years is reducing the percentage of crimes, but for some reason the murder rate is still continuing to climb, and for some reason the drugs are still making are still increasing, and the drug usage. Gang members are starting to become more prevalent, and I still think it's because that family structure is not there. The gang is the alternative. So we're going to have to continue to work, not just the police department. You know, we always want to put it on the police department. We need to work as a community to help to deter criminal actions. And I am very blessed to be the CEO of Backfield in Motion, and it's a program that combines athletics and academics to inspire inner city boys to reach their maximum potential. And we use sports as a hook. We really do, because even though we provide football, basketball, and baseball, what we really do is get these boys into the program and mentor them. We educate them. We have tutors from metro school systems that work with them on a daily basis. We have leadership programs. We have yes, we have sports programs, but those programs are only 5th and 6th grade. But we keep the young man after that, and we provide all types of enrichment and mentorships for them. And then what we do is we turn them into leaders. And these programs, Backfield in Motion is a very special program, but we have programs like this all over the city. And if we can have a concerted effort to have the Backfield in Motions add that little piece that's missing, it would be such a great thing. And Backfield is on Woodland Street, right in East Nashville. We work out of 6 community centers. Our coaches and our staff have permission from the parents to go into the schools. We go into the schools every day. We track these young men. We follow their grades. We also have them to turn their report cards into us. And so not only do they win on the field, but we have opportunities for them to also compete in the classroom. And every card marking, the group that has the highest average gets rewarded for that, and then the group that has lower averages gets more work. And those are the kids that we work hardest with. And so the fact is that Backfield in Motion is a lifesaver. Backfield in Motion can change the lives not only of these young men, but their whole families, because we get the families involved. And there is hope for these young people. There is hope for the entire communities that are suffering, but we just have to get involved in it and be a part of it. So it's really a blessing to be at this organization, to be involved hands-on, and I'll probably say, if I ever leave it, that it probably will end up being the highlight of my professional life, because I know that every day I go to work at Backfield in Motion, that I'm making a difference in a child's life.
You know, Mayor, over the last 2 minutes that we have here, I had an opportunity on this program to talk to individuals involved with Partners for Survival and Mr. Jordan and others. And it seems to be that one of the chief things that they always point out here is that if we had some kind of jobs for some of these young men that are involved in all of this drug and shooting and et cetera, that we might be able to better direct them away from that. If perhaps the city or perhaps the federal government, remember the old CETA programs that they used to have a long time ago and et cetera. Speak to some of those issues.
Well, you know, the fact is that if there was more, but I don't want to contradict myself, because truthfully the unemployment rate is lowest in Nashville than it is in most places in the country. But when we talk about jobs, we got to talk about quality jobs, not just minimum wage jobs where you're still in the poverty level and you work 8 hours a day. But the only way that you can really attain those kind of jobs is that you have to be qualified. You have to be prepared. So not only do we need to provide the jobs, but we also need to provide the training so that these young men and young women will have the wherewithal to receive the better paying jobs. So it's going to take a concerted effort. Yes, the jobs need to be there, but also there needs to be a structure that can
lead to those jobs.
That can lead to them. And it's very important that government takes a leadership role, but government can't do it by itself. It's going to have to take the community, the faith-based community. I don't say church because that leaves out some of the faith-based groups. No, it needs to be all of the faith-based groups in the city to come together and nonprofits, and we can beat this thing.
Very good. And of course, we've got about 20 seconds before we end this show for today, Mayor. And let me thank you for coming by and just giving us that excellent information and informing us about your candidacy to make sure that people understand what you're doing and whatever. And so, and also let me encourage our audience to tune in again next week for another informative edition of Comments. Thank you and good morning.